Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I offer whatever suits your time zone, and I hope everyone is doing well. Today, we're going to try to predict Thomas Tuchel's selection for the game against Leeds United at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. So, follow me, and let's have some fun. The game against Leeds United on Saturday has become even more important given Chelsea's poor performances in the last three games. I think even though we're depleted, you could argue, given the number of players who are out with injuries, it does not matter at this point. Even a draw will not be acceptable. I do believe we have a good enough squad to win this game, but I think Thomas Tuchel will be very, very, very cautious in his approach to this game because he wouldn't want his defense to ship in as much as 3 goals in a single game this time. Even a single goal, I don't think he will be happy this time. So now, let's get into it. Between the stakes, I think Edourd Mendy will come back into the lineup to guard the post for Chelsea Football Club. I don't believe his omission from the game against Zenit St. Petersburg in Russia was as a result of his mistakes in the game against West Ham United. I think that his omission was just to start easing in Kepa Areizabalaga into the team gradually so that the process is seamless. And when Edourd Mendy leaves for AFCON in January, it will not be a drastic move, and it will not seem as if that Kepa Areizabalaga is only important because Mendy has gone to AFCON. Yeah, so Mendy comes back to take his place as the number 1 goalkeeper for the club. And for the back three, Thiago Silva will come back into the lineup. His camp presence and experience will be, invaluable against the high-octane football playing Leeds United, and they attack with blistering speed. So I think we need the camp presence of Thiago Silva to lead the back line. And to his right, I think Andreas Christensen will move to the right-hand side. And I think he's done well whenever he played in that position, although you could argue that the right centre-back position is not his preferred position, but he is capable of, executing that role very well. And to the left of Thiago Silva comes in the one and only Antonio Rudiger, who is the best in terms of executing the left centre-back position for us right now. You could argue Mallaand Sare does his best, but he's nowhere near Antonio Rudiger in terms of executing the left centre-back position role. Now, for the double sixes, that's where it gets tricky, given that we have specialty players out due to injury. I think Jorginho will come into the lineup, and I believe he will be paired with, Reece James, who played there in the last game. And I think the pairing of Reece James and Jorginho will offer more protection than we saw in the game against Zenit. I think Reece James has a defensive ability, defensive attributes, and has also played in that position for Wigan Athletic. I think that pairing of Jorginho and Reece James will be good. I think they will do well in that game. That is, if Thomas Tuchel decides to fill them both as a 2-6-6, because you never know Thomas Tuchel, when you think player A will start a game, he fields player B. Now, for the left wing back position, I think Marcos Alonso will start. Again, I'm not concerned about the defensive aspect of the game if he starts, because again, I've said this like a million times in my shows, that the primary responsibility of our wing backs isn't to defend, and they do more going forward that they do defensively. And for the right wing back position, given that Reece James will be paired with Jorginho, I think Callum Hudson Odoi will occupy the right wing back position. And for the 2-8s, I think Mason Mount will be rested. He looked a bit tired. He looked a bit out of place in the game against Zenit. I think Timo Werner keeps his place given how well he did against Zenit St. Petersburg. I think Timo Werner keeps his place and hopefully he gets more goals and long may that continue. And I think the pairing for Timo Werner for the 2-8s will be Hakim Ziyech. That is because there'll be lots of space for him to exploit. And he's one of those guys that's capable of orchestrating defense, splitting passes with quick vision. I think he comes in to exploit those to exploit those spaces that we see whenever Leeds United plays, and there's quite a lot of them to exploit. And for the number 9 position, I do not think Kai Havertz will start. I think I do think the person to start in that position will be Romelu Lukaku himself, because Lukaku does well whenever there is space and the opposition he can drift to the right, drift to the left to create chances for his teammates. That is when there are spaces to exploit. And in the middle section, he can also position himself well because there are spaces for him to get the ball and have a bit of a time to have a goal at the post. And that is it. That is it for me for the lineup. So you get in the comment section below and let me know if you'd rather start someone else than the players that I picked for that lineup. Yeah, and for the scoreline, I do not think it will be a high-scoring game. And the reason being that Chelsea will come into this game with a cautious approach, not to concede in this game at all, because you could argue our defense has been leaky in the past 3 games that we've played. I think Thomas Tuchel will focus on solving that issue before he starts talking about scoring plenty of goals. But if we're able to score more than 3 goals in this game, I take it. But I think Chelsea will score just 2 goals, and the game will end 2-0 win for Chelsea. Yeah, and that is it from me today. Again, please don't forget to smash that like button, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and more importantly, click on the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. Again, my name is Coachiala. See you all next time. Cheers.